Okay, let's unpack this. I want you to picture a nation, a massive economic superpower.
Mm-hmm.
If we look at the raw GDP numbers right now, this place would be the third largest economy on the entire planet.
Trailing only the U.S. and China.
Exactly. But here's the catch, right? This nation...
Not a nation.
Cybercrime.
It is a chilling statistic to start with.
Yeah.
And what's terrifying is this isn't some, far-off projection anymore. We are looking at reports from cybersecurity ventures that pin this reality to right now to 2026.
It really puts things into perspective. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today is February 14th, 2026. Happy Valentine's Day, I suppose, though the landscape we're looking at isn't exactly romantic.
Not at all.
We're living through what experts are calling a critical inflection point. We've got emerging tech that is just amplifying criminal capabilities to a level we've never seen.
But to be fair, that same tech is amplifying our defensive opportunities too. That's the real tension here.
It's an arms race.
Plain and simple.
Exactly. And our source stack today really highlights this battle. On one hand, we have this high-level forecast, the 7 cybersecurity trends of 2026, which is based on insights from Bernard Marr.
In Forbes and Cybercrime magazine, yeah. That gives us the problem landscape.
And for the solution, we're taking a serious look under the hood of a tool called Swimmage.
Which is an automated endpoint recovery tool. And, don't let that dry name fool you.
Mm-hmm.
The methodology there is fascinating because it basically challenges the way we've done IT for, 30 years?
Right. So our mission today is pretty simple. We want to explore how organizations can survive this unprecedented global crime wave. Not just by building higher walls, because, let's be honest, the walls get breached.
Always. It's about mastering the art of instant recovery. It's moving past the idea of perfect prevention.
Because perfect prevention is a myth in 2026.
You just can't block everything.
So, for everyone listening, don't worry if you aren't an IT wizard. We are designing this for the learner. You don't need to know how to code to get why this matters. We're going to break down how IT resilience actually works.
Without drowning you in jargon.
Let's start with the context. It's 2026. What does the threat landscape actually look like?
It is a jungle out there. Bernard Marr identified 7 key trends for this year. And reading through them, some of these feel like science fiction that just became, science fact.
Like what?
We've got deepfakes and synthetic attacks becoming standard. Quantum security is starting to creep in. Regulatory overhauls are everywhere.
And you can't ignore cyber warfare on the global stage. But looking at the notes, the 2 trends that really jump out and I think are most relevant for us are agentic cyber attack and defense and the evolution of ransomware.
Yes, agentic. That's the buzzword of the year.
We hear it everywhere. But for the listener who might just be catching up, what separates an agentic attack from, a standard virus?
Well, think of the old way as a script. A human hacker writes a set of instructions. Go here, steal this, lock that.
Okay.
If that script hits a roadblock, it just stops. An agentic attack that involves AI agents, these are entities capable of acting on their own.
Autonomously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can reason, they can adapt, they can launch attacks without a human pressing a button. If they hit a locked door, they don't stop. They look for a window. Or they, try to bribe the doorman.
So it's not just a burglar trying a lock. It's a burglar that can pick the lock or melt the lock or realize the lock is fake and just go through the chimney instead.
Precisely. It
Right.
makes the threat dynamic. It changes in real time. And then you have the classic weakest link. Marr points this out specifically.
Which is still us.
It's still us, humans. It always comes back to us, doesn't it? We're the ones clicking things we shouldn't.
Always. You can have the best firewall, the most expensive zero-trust architecture, but if a remote worker clicks a sophisticated phishing link or, falls for a deep-fake voice memo from their boss...
The perimeter's breached.
And this is where the rubber meets the road. So that break happens, it's a Tuesday, an attack hits the network. A salesperson clicks the wrong thing. What happens next?
Well, in the traditional model, let's call it the old way, it's a logistical nightmare. The device is infected, the user's locked out. Usually that meant shipping the laptop back to IT headquarters.
Shipping it, you mean like in a box, through the mail?
Yep. Find a box, print a label, get it to the carrier.
That takes days.
Days. Try weeks, depending on the backlog.
Yeah.
If a big attack hits a company, IT might have 500 laptops sitting in a pile. Then they have to manually wipe it, re-image it,
Reinstall everything.
reinstall the operating system, and then ship it back.
And the user is just, sitting on their hands?
Pretty much. Or trying to work off a smartphone, which is just miserable. And here's the kicker. Usually, when they get the laptop back, their local data is gone. All those files on the desktop. Poof.
That feels incredibly archaic. I mean, we have self-driving cars, but we're still shipping laptops in cardboard boxes to get them fixed.
It is archaic. And in an economy where downtime costs millions, that process is just obsolete. It's too slow for 2026 threats. If an agentic AI is attacking you at light speed, you can't respond at the speed of the Postal Service.
So if the old way is dead, we need a new way. Which brings us to Swimmage.
Right, SWIMAGE. It stands for Software Image, loosely, but it's an interesting solution because it tackles this exact bottleneck. It's an end-to-end automated solution for managing, repairing, and re-imaging endpoints, laptops, PCs, the devices we actually use.
And their core promise is pretty bold. Rebuild, recover, secure, instantly. But the metric that really jumped out at me was the speed. They claim they can rebuild a crashed PC in under 15 to 30 minutes.
That is the headline number, yeah. And compared to the old way of 2 weeks, I mean, that's just exponential.
Yeah.
But as you dig in, the speed isn't even the most impressive part. It's the how.
Okay, here's where I wanted to push back a little. I was reading through their material and I saw something about offline deployment. And my first thought was, wait, how can you fix a remote computer if the network is down?
That's the million-dollar question.
Or if the computer's so infected, you have to cut it off from the internet, right?
Right. Usually, remote repair tools need the cloud. They need a pipe to send the fix down. If the pipe is broken, the tool breaks. The answer is how SWIMAGE architects the deployment. They use an embedded deployment method.
Embedded meaning, what, it's already there?
Exactly. Essentially, the necessary files, the configurations, the whole repair kit, if you will, is embedded locally on the device in a protected partition.
So it's like having a spare tire and a mechanic in the trunk of your car.
That's a great analogy. Or maybe even a step further. It's like a submarine having its own oxygen supply. It doesn't need to surface to breathe. It functions independently of the network.
Wow.
So imagine that salesperson we talked about. They're in a hotel with terrible Wi-Fi, or maybe the ransomware locked their network card. Their machine gets corrupted. SWIMAGE can still start the rebuild because everything it needs is already on the hard drive.
That is massive for resilience. It means you aren't tethered to a corporate server to get fixed.
Precisely. And in a world of cyber warfare or huge ransomware attacks, where networks might be the first thing to go or where you want to take them down to stop the spread, that independence is a game changer. You can recover in the dark.
Okay, let's walk through a scenario. Make this concrete. It's that Tuesday morning again. I'm a remote worker. I open an email, click a link, and boom, ransomware. My screen turns red. I'm locked out.
Nightmare scenario. The panic sets in.
Right. So what does Swimmage actually do in that moment? Walk me through the steps.
Okay, so it follows a specific workflow. Detect, decide, deploy, restore. First, detect. It has policy-triggered rebuilds, so it notices the system integrity has been compromised. It sees the fire before you even smell the smoke.
I was watching.
Then decide. And this connects back to that agentic defense trend. SWIMAGE uses AI-driven workflows to figure out the correct automation. It doesn't just guess.
Okay, then deploy.
It initiates the rebuild, and this is crucial. It removes the threat at the root.
This is different from just running an antivirus scan, right?
Yeah.
Because I can do that myself.
Oh, completely different. An antivirus tries to pick the bad files out of the good ones. It's like trying to pull weeds. You might miss a root. SWIMAGE is rebuilding the operating system to a known good state. It's not cleaning the room. It's stripping it to the studs and putting up new drywall.
But wait, stop right there. If you strip the room to the studs, I lose all my furniture. This was the part that surprised me. Usually when IT wipes my computer, the old nuke and pave, I lose everything. My settings, my background, those files I saved on the desktop.
Correct. The industry has struggled with this for years. SWIMAGE does something different. They use a feature called Data Protect Snapshot and Rollback. So even while it's rebuilding the OS to kill the malware, it is strictly preserving your data, your profile, your settings.
How does it separate the two? I mean, if the malware is on the drive, how does it keep the good stuff without keeping the bad stuff? That sounds difficult.
It comes down to how it handles the file system. It isolates your user state, your docs, your Wi-Fi passwords, your wallpaper from the operating system core. It wipes the core, reinstalls a fresh compliant version of Windows, and then just drapes your user state back over it.
And it checks to make sure the user data isn't infected too?
It validates that the user data isn't executable code that could contain the virus, yes.
So when the machine reboots 15 minutes later,
It looks exactly like your machine. Your wallpaper's there, your files are there, but the ransomware is gone, and the OS is clean.
that is seamless. It's almost like time travel. You go back to the moment before the infection, but with a clean bill of health.
And that's vital for user adoption. Think about it. Users often hide problems because they're afraid of the hassle. If I tell IT, they'll take my laptop for a week. If the rebuild is painless, they're more likely to let the automation just take over.
No, we touched on this word compliant. The source material talks a lot about security and compliance. It's not just about fixing the glitch, it's about the rules.
Right, and this is where we get into the architecture. Swimage is built on a zero-trust model.
Zero trust is a huge buzzword. We hear it everywhere. What does it mean in this specific context?
In simple terms, it means the system assumes nothing is safe until it's verified. A device isn't allowed to operate or connect to the network until it meets specific health requirements. And every time Swimage does a rebuild, it is automatically enforcing company policies.
So if my company needs SOC2 compliance or HIPAA for healthcare?
The rebuild automatically aligns the device to those standards. It's not a human checking a box, it's baked into the code. If the device reboots via Swimage, it reboots into compliance.
There was also mention of encryption, Swimage encryption converter. That sounds technical, but why is that a main feature?
It's a niche, but a critical feature for big organizations. Companies often need to change encryption standards, maybe after a merger or due to new regulations. Usually that requires decrypting the drive, which is risky, the data is exposed, and then re-encrypting.
Sounds messy.
It is. Swimage can migrate a PC from one encryption type to another without ever moving the data off the PC, keeping it secure through the whole process.
So it changes the lock on the front door without ever opening the door.
That's a good way to put it. For a chief information security officer, that's peace of mind. Data never leaves the device.
Okay, let's talk about the bottom line. It's fast, it works offline, it keeps you compliant, but usually fast, good, cheap. You only get to pick two. Is this going to break the bank?
Well, looking at the source material, they reveal a starting price point that is, frankly, aggressive,
Do tell.
starting at only $4 per seat.
$4. Seriously, that's the price of a fancy coffee. Actually, in 2026, that's probably half a fancy coffee.
It's a compelling ROI argument, isn't it? You compare $4 against the cost of downtime. If an employee is down for 2 days, you've lost hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars, if you can get them back in 15 minutes.
The tool pays for itself in the first incident. And it seems like this isn't just some small startup. The scale is massive.
It is. They're in over 85 countries. Over 1 million devices secured. This is battle-tested technology.
I love reading the testimonials because that's where you hear the human voice. There was a quote from a remote worker that summed it up. I didn't even need to contact the help desk. I was able to return to working quickly.
That's the dream, right? Eliminating the help desk ticket. It frees up the IT team to do proactive work instead of just fighting fires.
And then there's the national nonprofit IT director. Listen to this. Completed 60 computers in 2 hours with one person.
That is incredible efficiency. In the old world, 60 computers would be a 2-week project for a whole team.
Just stacking them up on a workbench, plugging things in, a mess.
A total mess.
There was also a comment from a European office employee who said they were very surprised at how seamless it was. I think that surprise speaks volumes. We're so used to IT repairs being painful.
We are conditioned to expect trauma when our computers break. We expect to lose data, to lose time. Swimage is trying to change that entire narrative. They say it slashes downtime by over 80%. Any CFO will love that metric.
So let's pull back the lens. What does all this mean? We started with the terrifying trends of 2026 agentic AI, cyber warfare, and we've looked at Swimage as this tactical tool. How do we connect these dots?
I think if we look at the big picture, we're seeing a fundamental shift in philosophy. For the last 20 years, cybersecurity was all about prevention.
Building a higher wall.
Building a wall high enough so the bad guys can't get in. But as we said, the bad guys have jetpacks now. They fly right over the wall.
Right.
With agentic AI and synthetic attacks, prevention is impossible to guarantee 100%. So the philosophy is shifting to resilience. It's not about if you get hit, it's about how fast you can bounce back.
And Swimage represents that resilience.
It does. Think back to agentic cyber attacks, AI acting on its own. To fight that, you need AI-driven workflows, which is Swimage's decide phase. You fight fire with fire, you fight an agent with another agent.
And to survive cyber warfare where networks might go dark?
You need resilient deployments that work offline. Swimage checks that box. It's almost like we're moving towards self-healing systems.
Self-healing. That's a powerful image.
It is. We're moving away from a model where a human doctor has to perform surgery on every sick computer. We're moving to an immune system model, where the body, the network, detects the pathogen and just eliminates it. automatically.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. We've gone from shipping laptops and cardboard boxes to having a digital immune system that kicks in while we go grab a coffee.
And that's really the only way to survive the 2026 landscape. Speed and autonomy. If you're relying on humans to click buttons to fix things, you are already too slow.
So we've covered a lot. We've gone from the terrifying scope of the 2026 cyber economy to a practical tool that turns a catastrophe into a 15-minute break.
It's a hopeful message, actually. The
Yeah.
threats are getting smarter, but
Yeah.
so are the defenses. We aren't helpless.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We talked about self-healing computers. If our devices can now heal themselves automatically, detect their own corruption, and rebuild without any human help, does this mark the beginning of a true immune system for the internet? And here's the provocative part. As these agentic AI attacks become more and more common, will the only way to survive be to have an agentic defender living inside your OS, watching your back 24/7?
It raises the question, eventually, will the human even be needed in the loop at all? Or will the war just be fought entirely between the attacking AI and the defending AI while we just try to get our work done in the middle?
Something to think about the next time your screen flickers. Check your plan B, everyone. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Stay resilient.